Perfect, perfect. Well, I
Five,
just want to say,
2, 1.
Karyn White, I just want to say thank you so much. You don't understand how much like I am one of your biggest fans. Even though I'm only 32, everyone laughs at me because they say, "What's where? What?" I was born in '88.
Wow, I love it.
Yes.
32.
Like and the reason why I
What
want
is it, 80, 82?
88, 88,
I mean, 88. Look,
88. Yes.
wow,
And
I love it. That's
oh,
what's
thank
up,
you.
Mike.
Thank you. Oh, like, no, the reason I want to talk with you is because with our Black SD magazine, it's all about helping with the representation of the Black community in San Diego, especially when it comes to entrepreneurs, creatives, and the small business
Oh,
community.
wow. Okay.
And so when we created this platform, we even have a Catalyst Black Entrepreneur program where it's free for any African American to participate in. We take them through a 3-month process from business development all the way to securing extra funding because I felt that there was a gap here and there was, I think, always a generational gap for our community. So I wanted to create more of an impact beyond just, promoting our businesses and different things.
Wow. So promoting, and you said Black businesses, right?
Black businesses, creatives, and then also entrepreneurs.
Entrepreneurs.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. In San Diego. Wow. Yeah, I definitely am an entrepreneur. Um, Although I'm a recording artist, when I left the business back in like 90, maybe 97, 99, I believe, I got into real estate investing, and I really loved that industry, and I learned a lot. So I consider myself, an official entrepreneur. I would do these lease options, and I would buy homes, fix them up, make them beautiful,
Yes.
and then sell them every 2 years. And I did. It was a great time to be in real estate at that time up until.
Yeah.
So just to share that with you about small businesses. Mm-hmm.
Oh no, I love it. If you actually in our conference room, we have one of our entrepreneurs. She actually has a fashion brand and a designer. So the first thing I put them is to a whiteboard. I'm like, you need to know your margins, you need to know your story. I'm so intense on them. They always look and go, wow. I'm like, look, you're not gonna. I say you have sometimes one chance to make it. Sometimes you never know who you're having a conversation with that could change your life. So I want you to always be prepared once you leave this office.
Wow, I'm so proud of you. I do think my, perfect example of what, like you said, knowing your margins, understanding financial literacy, which a lot of our people are very talented, but that's where it's like, I got the idea, but I'm like, okay, no, now, who are you branding to? What, like you said, what are your numbers? Are you a S Corp? Are you a C Corp? Are you an LLC? And then just knowing the write-offs, the great write-offs that owning your own business affords you. And a lot of people have no clue. That I'm like, boy, that's a write-off. I say for me, I like to make my life a write-off. Like, what, and this is what we can do, people, right? Being a business owner. So it's like you're working with the government when you are a business owner, because they want us to employ people. So that's the beautiful thing about being an entrepreneur too.
Oh yes, definitely. And we also explore the creative standpoints because, as a singer, actress, we have musicians and we have people who do sculpting and painting, and it's like hard for them to understand how they navigate their business, from that standpoint. So we even did our Best of Awards. We are the first in San Diego. That happened in August. So we have 43 categories and 5 honorary mentions because I was really big on, I heard so many people trying to fight to get noticed in publications. And I said, well, look, this is a platform that's for you guys. So I said, how can we root for everyone who's Black better than just having our own awards? And so.
So was it live or was it virtual?
It was all virtual because of COVID, but it was so powerful where we even had one for a LGBTQI social media influencer award, and people were like, even this guy was like, I'm happy someone just sees me, and we had like best singer, best actress, even best poet. And people were like, wow, something for us. And I'm like, well, that's because that's where representation matters the most, where you should when your own community recognizes you without you having to fight for other communities to recognize you, that's all you need to feel impactful.
Definitely. And that's where it starts,
Yeah.
especially with marketing. It's like they tell you to try to capture your own community, and then it's easier to move out from a base. So that's wonderful. I really love what you're doing in the community. So kudos to you.
Oh, thank you. Well, I am also from LA. I know you're from Los Angeles, but I'm from the Valley part, so so it's a little.
Yes, born and raised. Being in Los Angeles was so awesome because I could dream. That's what LA is to me. It's like you have all these amazing, there's this energy that's working with you because there's all these entrepreneurs and people that want to be somebody and be great. So that energy is beautiful, just to grow up that way and to, be able to really, like, I remember I started out doing pageants and I won like the Miss Talented Teens, Hal Jackson's Talented Teens, and all of these. I would sing Stephanie Mills' song, the Home from The Wiz. And then from there, I got into a group and we were managed by Switch, who was El DeBarges. I'm not sure if you remember they were the first DeBarges. Bobby DeBarge from Switch, and that was, so I was able to meet these incredible Don Cornelius and Soul Train, and it was like these people because we were able to touch them, I remember how people tell you, like, we like Soul Train and we danced every day, but no one really, like, we got to physically, go to Soul Train.
Yeah.
Dance. And so we got to really dream, and it didn't feel like it was something that wasn't achievable or attainable. So shout out to the dreamers in LA.
Yeah. That really does impact it, and that's why I created and wanted to bring that energy out here because, and you talking about being in pageants, we actually have one who's going up for Miss California, the magazine is sponsoring, and she's representing the city out here. So we were like, how else to, help with, especially the black female is the leader in the Black community when it comes to entrepreneurship. People don't realize it's like the number is raised to 400 million, Black entrepreneurs and females are the ones like going that route. So
wow,
that's
so great you guys are sponsoring. Shout out to, I call them the super women, right? Because you're talking about the most educated, the Black women, they said the most educated, the most business owners.
Yeah.
And so to me, women are so, I'm in awe. Really, I really am in awe, and I'm of the Black woman, she is just everything, powerful, dynamic, a mother, just a dreamer, it's just I love to support, and I love that I learned so much from every generation of the Black woman. It's just incredible.
Yes, definitely. And while we're on the topic of Black women, we have to talk about you. We have to talk about you. When I, told Derrick, I said, there's three things I make when I think about you: self-love, empowerment, and transformation. Because when I've seen some of the interviews, read the stories, and all of those things were a part of you. When you said you took your hiatus, it's because you wanted to focus on family, but you said there was a spiritual disconnect between your music, the lyrics, and the success that you had. Please let us know why and how that happened.
Wow, you do know. So the
I like to do a little research.
Like, what I would say is that I really, being a dreamer, having a lot of faith, growing up in a household where my parents and my mom was, such inspiration to me and encouraging me to be everything that I wanted to be. I knew how to dream, and I knew how to achieve my goals and work really hard and have laser focus, and that was very easy for me to do. So as I got older and got married, and I just started to, when you're learning, it's like on the job training when you have success very fast, and people don't realize that. No one really tells you where they should, but for some reason they kind of keep you ignorant. It's like, because they don't want you knowing too much, because maybe you'll fire them. Like you don't pay your accountant on gross. You don't pay. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even pay gross, right? I get paid on the net. So things like that. So when you start getting too hard, they kind of keep you dumbed down a little bit. So I just found myself, like I said, becoming who I didn't want to become. There was, being married, and I remember going into Warner Brothers and them saying like, well, why are you, not being a sex symbol like you used to be? And it's funny because I started to take on the energy of my husband, Terry Lewis, at the time, who was business side of Jimmy and Terry Lewis. Although he does the music, a lot of the lyrics and music with Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, but he's also the business side. So I learned business.
Yeah.
And so I just found myself, like I said, just becoming what I didn't want to become, which was, trying to be what I wasn't. And I was very organic to how I made it and what my focus was. And I felt as though they were trying to kind of turn me into like, I got with a manager, and I'll say this because he managed George Michael and he was very pop. He also managed Jody Watley. So I felt like he was trying to make me a little bit more of that kind of Black Madonna.
Mm-hmm.
And so a lot of the material released wasn't as reflective as my empowerment for women. And that was on the second album. And so there was just lessons and always just growing and learning from, just being around the best. When I was with Terry, I was introduced to, Clarence Avon, who was the godfather of the music business, the Black godfather. So I just became a little bit difficult to deal with, I'll say it more, because, I started to want to know the business side of it instead of just, how do I make the song a hit and how, being popular. So that's what I would say.
And it's funny when you say difficult, because that's very, in this type of world, even being a man myself, women are always difficult when they want to know the business. If I'm a man, if I want to know, tell me my margins, they're going to listen to me and tell it. But if you do it, they're going to say, you're asking for too much. It's such sexism at its like peak.
Right. Exactly. You just stick with, creating the hit records. And so, but it was Minnesota and just that whole, me going from working with LA and Babyface on the first album and then working with Jimmy and Terry. And I've had some really great people. And if I could look back over my career, I've really learned from the best and so that's why for me, I have a high margin of, excellence and knowing what's great. And that's something that, you can never take away from. And so I was able to take all of that and then just move. When I left the business, I never intended to say I wasn't going to sing again. I just, couldn't do, for me, it was hard for me to be great at being a mother, being a wife. Yeah. Also being an artist. I'm a Libra, so I'm very off balance. People say we're balanced as a Libra, but actually we need to stay balanced. So for me, we had an AM and a PM nanny, because you got Terry just as busy as I am. You got two people in the height of their careers, and it just wasn't working for me. So I didn't know how to do it. So I was going through some things personally, and so I stepped back and I just said I need to really make sure I don't unravel in front of the world, because I'm a teenager growing up in this business, and it was very important for me to just spiritually get centered, because whenever you start wondering about, trying to compete with other people, and to me it's like, you compete against yourself, and then when you start looking at other numbers, what you should be, and this person, then you're off, right? Because we don't want to compare ourselves. Compare yourself to you. Exactly. That's gonna be the best version of yourself. And so once I was seeing I was doing that, I was like, no, let me shut this down. Let me focus on being a woman and today.
Do you feel the industry do you feel like it's just an age-old thing where they put women against each other to always compare and contrast?
Yes, they do. It's always been like that. And I'm like a cool chick. So I love, like I said, I love incredible people. I love talent. Yeah. It's hard for me, like, I don't front on people. And I wear my heart on my sleeves. And if I see someone that's brilliant, I have no problem telling them how amazing they are. But it's hard to get that back, and it's not nice. I don't like it. The guys are better at it. You know, I love how the men root for each other, and so it's interesting with this whole versus thing that's going on.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that will, you know, it seems like it's been people, the artists have been loving each other's work, and it's been a great, I don't know, what's the word? It seems like they've been able to root for each other, and it's a great outcome. So I'm hoping that's where we are, especially in lieu of the time we're in. We're just supporting and giving people their flowers. So we'll see. I've been told that for the verses, I've been told that, you know, they would like for me to do myself and Jody Watley. So.
I was about to say that. But you know, honestly, I would not. It's just like apples and oranges, because I literally will have it on a playlist, and I promise you, everyone thinks I'm like stuck in the era that I was just born in, like two years before it ended. But it's apples and oranges. You know, if you go from "Don't You Love Me" to "The Way I Feel About You," or "The Way I Love You," or "A Love That's Mine," there's no comparison. Even the visuals from your things, you know, and honestly, I would tell a lot of people when it comes to artistry, and they were like, you know, you are always you love just what Karyn White said. When you see a young, before augmentation for women in the industry, you know, I said, you see a young Black woman, and, you know, brown skin, singing, dancing, having a great time. And that's just it. It's the talent, it's the skills there. It's nothing else, nothing more, nothing less. I say we don't have that anymore. That's why I love that era where it was just like, it was just you.
Wow, thank you for sharing that. So you're saying that you feel like that's missing in this era?
Yeah, I feel like that's storytelling. You know, if you go from that storytelling with you, you know, Jody Watley. I always look at like Pebbles and Babyface when you go when you think about what you call it, love make things happen. You don't realize until the end of the music video that I literally was watching the end and not the beginning.
Got you. Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. I gotta look at it, but so I love that era because it was a very visual era. Because you know, you gotta think, you know, we were in. That was a big part of being a recording artist. You had to be entertaining and visually. You know, which Jody Watley, Janet, you know, Prince, Michael, all of these artists were very visual and very entertaining, and that's for me. That's the part I love the most, the videos and, you know, just the whole performing, you know, and for me, I love performing live too. So those would be two of my favorite. I love performing live and I love videos. So those are the two best parts about, to me, being an entertainer.
And the thing is, and that's what you guys focus on, wasn't entertaining. You weren't focused on the awe factor. You know, now with social media, it's all about how much can I get people to talk about you. But even though there was marketing back then, it's like when you look at, and that's why I say I'm a big 80s music and not the early 90s. When you look at like Christopher Williams, when he first came out with, you know, I Talked to Myself, and they were like, oh, this was a ripoff. But, you know, the former execs would say, well, we just need to get him out there. You know, like, you guys were more so, let's make some noise and then let's give her differentiation and go about her day. But nowadays it loses that authenticity and that storytelling. So I'm always empowered by that.
Yeah, and although to me the singers are incredible, I love the voices. I believe, you know, especially with having so many shows that focus on talent and singing, definitely got a lot of great singers. But I feel like a lot of them are cloned. I feel like it's the individuality is what's missing, because I feel like artists all kind of sound like a few artists. You know what I mean? They keep the same person over and over. Whereas with us, I mean, that was, oh my God. It used to be, you know, having your own style and sound. That's what made you an artist. That you didn't sound like. We didn't want to be like, you know, but you didn't want to sound like someone. So to me, and this is probably before your time, but greats like, you know, Phyllis Hyman and Gladys Knight and Donna Summers and Dionne Warwick and all these different voices. And so that, you know, it was just so amazing growing up, having all of that individuality and learning things from each of these artists along the way. putting that gumbo in the pot, right?
Yeah.
And for me, I never really wanted to listen to female artists. It's because I didn't want to sound like anybody. It was really important for me to not sound like and have my own style. So I listened to male artists. I would Luther and Stevie and Al Jarreau and Michael and Prince. Those are James Brown. Those were some of my favorite and artists that I loved and tried to pattern myself on after.
No, I love that, and that's why I love even when you came out with your like some of your latest things with like Sister Sister and Quarantine Love. Do you feel like that tempo, that maturity is there compared to like when you first did like Superwoman, and everyone knows every line from line there, but it's like it's so full circle, but now you have that life experience, as you said, which you lacked back then with all these hitters.
Exactly, you're right. I didn't know what the heck did I know about being a superwoman. I had life to say, that I was that. But today, I feel like my voice has matured. I love that because that's the best thing about an artist. You want to keep growing. You remember how young Michael started out?
Yeah.
And, he found it he kept growing and reaching. And I love that about myself because I'll listen to those records and I'm like, But, great hits. But I love my voice now. I feel like, there's just a maturity in it. It's more seasoned, and I've more importantly, I've lived life. I've got some, stories, some truth. I can share with you, when I start talking about, my heart cries, or sees the day, or any of that music that I'm releasing now, Sister, about having a love affair with your sister, and on stage, I remember being in London and I had the women, and I was singing the song, and I got down to the women, to the girls. I brought them on stage and got down on my knees and to the feet, and it was just beautiful. And it's just I love being honest to the music. I love, it's nothing like it because it's healing.
Yeah.
Music, and that's what's missing too, is that honesty and, not just the swag, but it's about, what we grew up on, those that songs that made you feel and that changed lives in the 60s, and there were movements created out of the music because it was so powerful. So anyway, I'm hoping that this generation will birth, especially going through this time we're in now that it's going to birth some great music. And speaking of that, this is a segue. I have an artist that we're going to be releasing within this next month. His name is Akbar. He's 24 years old, and he has a song entitled Young Righteous Black Girl. You're going to love it. I'm going to send it to you.
Oh, please do.
Huh?
I said, please do. I'll make sure to share it on all our channels.
Thank you. And he's a rap artist, but he's like, I love the lyric. I love how he's putting, in the with the release of WAP, and to see that women and the young girls out there are hearing this and are aspiring to be that, to hear him say something about a young righteous Black girl.
Yeah.
I think it's the answer to, another side of this. It's like, I'm not going to try to condemn Cardi B, but I'm going to show another side. And we're so excited to put this record out because it means a lot, and it's needed.
And I think that's really, really, I can't wait to hear it and share it, because I had a conversation with some friends. Some friends said, they were talking about WAP and everything, and they were like, well, what's the difference between like Adina Howard and WAP? I said there was a big difference in owning your sexuality and then saying something overtly. I said there's a difference between having a normal conversation. I said take those same lyrics and just say it normally to your friends in conversation at dinner, and the reaction will be totally different than you just talking to your friends about your life as a woman to another woman, so there's a big difference. I said, if you take lyrics and you just casually talk, I said, but we don't live in a day and age where it's like, with like Brownstone, when they say if you love me, put my pride aside, just say you don't want to be with me. I said that we don't live in that day and age anymore where we are talking about like our feelings. We're living in a day and age where we're talking about just.
I know. That is so true. And I love what you said. I'm going to have to do that. Just like you said, if you can't, and I'm going to use that from my artists, if we can't say it in a conversation, right, you know what I mean? Without
people try to do a different thing, and it was so funny because it was you know, just Labor Day weekend just passed, and a friend was like, well, what about Adina? I said, Adina just told you what she wanted. And the friend said, I repeated everything. They said, well, Adina said in the morning and the evening. I said, she told you time and place, time and date. I said,
that is funny. But you know, another thing too is that it wasn't, I don't know, I think Adina Howard and they were also talking about Luke, you know, how he had but these, remember they used to, you may be too young, but they used to have like MTV or Black BET After Hours.
Yeah.
Explicit. So it was kind of like, it was labeled. Whereas now it's not. It's just like mainstream 3-year-olds singing WAP. You know what I mean? I don't work, I don't cook, I don't clean. Like, damn, you don't?
Like,
you know, a maid, right? And a chef, and, you know.
No, and it's funny you said that about like it being overt, because I laugh. I say, let's take it where people talk about like these songs. I say, let's take Escape for My Little Secret. They said, you being in the same with your girlfriend, it turns me on, nobody knows. I said, nowadays music says, your mama knows, everybody knows, don't you feel the fool? I'm like, there's a difference where it was very subtle. Not that everything has to be a comparison or what's right or wrong, but there's a difference between a subtlety and a conversation. Again, in a conversation, if I could say, hey, Karyn, I'm in the same room with them and they don't know. It kind of is a great feeling. And you'd be like, that's a little awkward, but okay. But then me saying, hey, Karyn, there's this WAP out there. I'm about to go get some. You'd be like, both times it's a little awkward, but at least one is just, we have strange friends.
Exactly. And you know, the thing is that I just hope, you know, but you know, the times reflect the music. Mm-hmm. So listen, I'm very, you know, it's gonna be, we better start saying something, because we gotta, it's changing whether we like it or not, right? We're gonna have to, you know, like you said, with you having this platform that helps business owners, Black business, and you know, it's the same thing with, you know, all these other industries. We're gonna have to start not allowing certain things too. It's up to us. You know, we're allowing this. You understand what I mean? The culture. So it's like the culture is gonna have to be like, no, wait. You know.
And that's why we want to even change the narrative. Like later tonight, around at 6 p.m., there's there's this Black woman who's a saxophonist. She's an impromptu saxophonist. So I had the idea, because for me, it's all about controlling the narrative. As long as I can do my part to help, you know, push the agenda of showcasing, you know, especially Black women in the most prominent light, and I've done my job as a Black man on this earth, you know, regardless of anything else. So we're doing this cool photo shoot where it's just her, the saxophone, nothing sexual, nothing scandalous, and it's visual, because in the studio the lights can change based off of the mood of the tunes. So I said, how about we just make something visual that showcases her talent, but that's visually appealing, and that's it, just a Black woman and a saxophone.
Wow.
That's it.
I love how you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Congratulations. I mean, wow, I really feel the love, and you have such a great platform, and it helps so many artists, and so it was blessed to have you.
Oh, thank you. We need to have you out here.
And anyway, too, I would love to support, you know, anytime you guys are doing anything, I would love to be a part of it. You know, I really love what you're doing. It's very honorable. So,
thank you. Definitely. Once COVID's over, we have to get you down here to San Diego.
I was there, I think last November. I was there, I did a photo shoot, and some of my favorite photographers, but actually the lady wound up moving, so I wasn't having a photo shoot, but I'm sure you can turn me on some photographers out there.
Oh yes, no. When you guys come, whenever like everything sets far, well, I promise you, we will sponsor the photo shoot. There's two different Black-owned studios actually. Even we have television cameras. I have like everything. It will be a whole cool thing. We could even do it in a video shoot. Yeah. So.
Wow, I love it.
Yeah. So I have a really good team, and it will be all you know, it's all Black-owned. Everything's Black, and And that was my way of saying, I wanted to show that narrative that, we can be exclusive because sometimes we need to be exclusive because if a people, a community needs to be focused on, then we need to put blinders on and focus on them. We can't have it both ways. We can't have not enough resources, but still try to be included in everything. No, we have to bring the resources back and build up from there.
Exactly, and support the resources.
Yeah, so.
And it's just, I believe people are waking up this whole, how many months has it been? I'm not counting. What is it, 6 months or so?
I think it's about 6 months now.
The beautiful part is that I believe, that people are really waking up and understanding that, nobody's going to save us but us.
Yeah.
So I think that we've really, starting to support each other with the dollars, and that's really so important. And I'm hoping, that we will be a part of this, time in life where we can start getting this Black Wall Street back, and it can be like the shift happened here. You know what I'm saying? Where people started realizing, I was at the Phipps Plaza in Atlanta, and I was just seeing how all of these Black people were lined up to buy Gucci. And it just made my stomach turn. I just felt like sick. I was like, wow, really?
Exactly.
For status, for what, they don't even care. You're being Gucci, and, they don't really care that you wear their products. They already have had, there was, how they had this thing with the mask and the Black exploitation. That's something that Gucci did. And so it's just like, I really hope that, that narrative is going to change. It was sickening. And I'm like, we won't support our own. So it's so important. And I just want to tell, thank you to all the artists out there and to people that are waking up. And I feel like I told my artist, because he has his Akbar, he has a clothing line coming out as well. I was like, we're not going to wear anybody else's stuff. We're going to wear our own.
Yeah.
So it's okay to, it's just the loving yourself. I think that's a big part of all that too. It's so many layers to this, right?
It is.
Go on.
No, and you're definitely right, because once we had a different photo shoot, like when for me with the magazine, when we sponsor these things, and like I said, when you come out here, because I come from the time where also like you had the Source, you had the Vibe, you had Jet, we have Melanin Models on Monday, we have all these things, like you come from, we have like, Essence, and I just was like, we don't build anymore. You know what I mean? We focus on the status quo, where you should be better off being your own business owner after taxes, bringing 40,000 in and being your own boss, than caring about a 6-figure job, having a Tesla, and being our, 6-figure. It doesn't matter. We have all these things, and you have the 6-figure thing, but you're someone else's employee.
Yep. At the end of the day, it's like you said, that's it. If they cancel you, you're gone. What do you have?
Exactly. At least if your business flounders or you have to reconstruct, it's yours. This is my magazine. But it's not even about me. It's about the people, the impact, that we can create, and our community needs a chance, because it's like, think about, I was like with like Superwoman, not even to go back to the music, but when you had Babyface and LA do this and bring it to you and bring this song to you, what if we had multiple occasions where we had in our community, different cities, where Black men or Black women brought something to another Black person that could be something that takes their brand, that takes them there, but instead we're not either working together or we're focusing on other communities because we hate ourselves.
Yep, you said it. And that's, but like I said, the great part is that we are the internet, all of this, I call it the new Black media, which you're a part of.
Yeah.
Look, they don't want to see that.
Yeah. No,
really, we are waking up. Waking up. I don't even watch TV. I'm watching the internet. I have my bloggers that I watch, and I'm learning so much, and I love it, because I get to see myself, and it's truth, and I'm not hearing what someone else is saying about me. And it's just, this time being in COVID, I had invested in the stock market. I always had bonds and was very safe and did real estate. So yeah. I was able to learn about investing in the stock market, using index funds and stuff in a book. And I remember I have a accountant and also a broker, and I fired him because I realized that I was paying him for stuff that was just simple, right, in a book. So what I'm trying to say is that people are waking up. There's so much YouTube University. I would tell people, there's so much information online about what we're talking about, starting a business, how to grow business. Accountants on there giving away all this great information on the benefits of being a business. There's really no excuse right now. You don't, it doesn't take, you don't have to be rich. You don't have to have all this great education. You don't have to be a superstar. You just got to have the will and the desire to build and to think of legacy for our future and our kids. And that's really where it's at right now. I'm hoping that people are waking up and going, and getting this information.
No, definitely. And I agree with you because when, we're the only community that we consume 4 times more entertainment than anyone, but we love Black Twitter, but we don't do anything. We're not creating technology. We're not creating SaaS products. We are so good at creating memes and being trending for weeks on end, but no one is sitting here, creating festivals to highlight other people. No one, they believe an Instagram page is a business alone. It's like, that's not how you're going to help your community thrive and grow.
Right. Well, I'm so glad that, you, like I said, you're doing it. There's a lot of other brothers and sisters out here. And we just got to support each other. And that's why I definitely want to link with you, because I love what you're doing.
Thank you.
And I also have, I want to just share with you, and then before we go, the Karyn White Foundation gave away grants to women who have been affected by COVID, $500 to business owners. I wish I would have known. I could have helped you promote it, but we'll be doing it again.
Okay, perfect, yes.
So I just want to talk to you about that, yes. So where I give away grants of $500 to women entrepreneurs. So we'll be doing that. So if you can, go to KarynWhite.me, sign up, go to the Karyn White Foundation and sign up. And I want to also be able to showcase business owners. And so that's why I was so excited about what you were doing, because you pulled it off. I was been telling my team about doing this online, but you did it. You're like, we gave away awards. I was like, wow. So I just talked about it. Yeah. And then I said, okay, well, I didn't do the big thing like you did. I just did a little thing and gave away the awards. But I wish I would have done
it. It's like, it looks like I have one. It looks like this when they won.
Wow. Okay, turn it around. Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Great. And you said that's one of the businesses?
Yeah, that's one of the businesses. It's a Black-owned vegan company.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah, so, and then, it's funny, before, I know we got a little bit of time before, we got like 10 more minutes, but not to hold you up, I know you're busy, but it's funny you're talking about women and entrepreneurs, because we just filmed our first podcast for, so there's different podcasts for the business. I have our entrepreneur series where it's just all about like, the help and different talks from branding, marketing, all the good stuff. Then we do behind the business, where I interview like different Black business owners, creatives, so people can connect with them. Because I didn't want people just to share stuff. I wanted you to connect with the person behind the apron, behind the mic, behind that. Right. And then we have one called Mompreneur, which is, and I do it with this, she's a mother, she's an entrepreneur, a business owner. And also, so what we talked about, our first episode yesterday, which people are already liking, is rebuilding the confidence. Because we talked on things about like, postpartum and what happens when you have a baby and different things. So where it's a 5-part series that talks to mom entrepreneurs and helping them, keep going. Yeah.
Wow. So that's a podcast, you said? Or
yes.
Okay. Yeah, I gotta get off your stuff so I can share it. It's so powerful. Wow, that alone, and it is so true. What you go through after you have a child. And I remember that too. I went through this being unsure of myself. We go through so many emotions being a woman. And so that's really great that you're able to show how do you deal with that, keep moving and keep going. So that's what you guys are, you're going to be releasing that, or you released that yesterday?
No, I'm releasing it once he gets it back to me. So releasing it this week, yeah. I'll send Derrick an email too, so you can hear it and everything, so yeah.
Wow, I love it.
Thank you. Well, we're almost close to our time. I just want to say thank you so much for this, Karyn White. I can't wait to have you in San Diego one of these days. and support all your different initiatives and everything.
You too. I can't wait. I really, like I said, I can't wait to dig into your brand, and just really proud.
Oh, thank you.
You know, loving your people, and just understanding where we are, but where we need to go,
Oh,
and
yes.
providing a path. You know what I mean? And you're doing something. You're doing the work, and that's so important. And I always tell people that I wish this is something. I just wish when I was your age that I understood that. You know, because a lot of the entertainers, we made this money, and we got with these people that were outside of. I won't even say what nationality, but we were famous, and then we left the hood, and then we went and bought out into these other areas and hired all these other people. And I wish that we would have, poured back into the community. And now we're seeing such the effects of not doing that. But it's not too late. So when I see you talking like this, and it really shows me, and even me feeling like that, I felt so bad. I was like, wow, I wish at 30, I wish when I was younger, I understood all that. I was too busy trying to, be a diva, wearing Chanel and all these Chanel bags. And it's like, I wish I could go back. But, we go through that, right? We live, we learn, we grow. And I'm just so proud to see that you are understanding this at a young age and investing in the future. Like I tell my daughter, I'm always getting on her, like, what's the plan, But really, you guys, this generation, I'm so proud of you guys, just fearless. And we call you guys the Joshua generation. Change is really prevalent, and it feels good to be a part of it.
Well, thank you so much for those, even with those kind words.
True. And okay, well, I will sign on out and tell you guys again, you can follow me at KarynWhite.me. I also have a movie out called
Gale The Storm. I know, I watched it all the way through.
Yeah, I was, and that's one of those, when you believe in yourself, right? I did a movie. We did it with college students, and we didn't spend, thousands, hundreds of thousands like people say it. So that's a lie. You can do a movie on a budget, and you can live your dreams. And my partner wrote a book, and I'm going to shout his book out. It's called Guerrilla Film Grind. Yeah. Derrick Muhammad, How to Make a Movie for Little or Nothing. So you guys want to get that book. If you want to do a movie, check out my film, check out my new music, and we'll keep rocking, and we'll stay strong, stay safe, and stay sane.
Thank you so much, Karyn. Thank you very much. See you. Talk to you soon. Bye.
Okay, bye-bye.